If you're into tarot or dragons, let me know. As I shuffle the cards, tarot is really truly an amazing thing. You know, we can get so much clarity about the choices that we make in life. The big thing is tarot, it's never wrong because we always choose a reality where it will always be exactly the way it should be for us. And that's the amazing thing about tarot is it never falters and never wrong. So if you're interested in tarot, let's see what the dragons have to say tonight. Thank you, dragons, for your wisdom. Let's see what we should be the theme for tonight. So tonight, this is our card for tonight. Put it like that. Ooh. Beautiful dragon. So this dragon is rebirth, giving yourself a second chance. We can talk a lot about second chances. That's from the shadow. Let's see what the light has to tell us today. Let's shuffle here and see what happens. Okay, let's see what dragons wants to have us talk about tonight as we focus on the wisdom and the knowledge of dragons. I'll just randomly start sharing more because let's see Kia Tarakushantara Kiantara Kushantara Yeshiti and Torokosha Karabare and Toro Yeshiandi. Okay, let's do the reveal. Okay, in any case, I know it's difficult to see, but this is the blue dragon from the Pleiades who prepared to accept source healing, accept our heart activation, give and receive heart healing. Okay, so we definitely have a lot to work with. We're working with rebirth, then we're working with source healing. That ties so beautifully into each other. To get that source healing, we have to go through a complete rebirth. That's something that I definitely went through when I started on my journey of expansion. I definitely had to go through a lot of rebirthing throughout life so that I could get into that source space and truly experience that rebirth, which was quite a significant event in my life, going through that rebirth to get into my source energy. Hi Tia, I just want to get a reading, please. All you do is you ask and then I'll quickly give one for you. Let me just feel into the energy and hold whatever feeling or thought you or direction you're looking for in your life, in your heart. And let's see what the dragons have in store for you. As I'm shuffling, just hold that feeling, that thought in your heart. And let's see what the dragons want you to know, to give you tonight, the gift I would like. Okay. Okay, so tonight what I saw, let me quickly show you the card. I know it can be a little difficult. So this is the dragon of wisdom and asking questions. An interesting thing about wisdom and the whole asking part is whoever asks is as king. So asking questions puts you in a position to be as king. So if you feel like you don't have the wisdom to express yourself, maybe this is that throat chakra activation that you are looking for. So let me know if this resonates with you. Let me know if you're feeling like the wisdom that you hold in yourself, you don't know how to express it, and that you cannot always ask questions. And I truly feel that tonight what the dragons wants you to know is to start acting as king, so that you are asking, becoming the best. Yeah, you also would like a reading. Okay, let's feel into what the energy wants for you. So whatever question you have and you would like answers to, just hold it in your heart and let's see what the dragons have in store for you. You're welcome, Tia. I hope this really resonated with you. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay, so here is the dragon. It's difficult to get this thing. Okay, I hope you can see it a little bit, but this is the orange gold dragon from Arcturus. So it's all about how to open you to knowledge for this new golden age, to carry the energy of the future, to be a guiding light. So becoming the best. I feel the dragons are talking to you about this knowledge of the golden age. If you don't know what the golden age is about, we are currently stepping into the new golden age, where we remember that ancient knowledge of the Egyptians, the Anu, and that era of absolute perfection, channeling, rebirthing our own inner knowledge and true power. And so this is all about stepping into your power again and to be a guiding light. If you've ever felt yourself to be more prone to giving guidance to people, and you feel you've got this inner knowledge and burning sensation to guide people, this might be the call of the dragons telling you that you should start listening to that inner voice of yours. Truly allow the orange and gold dragon from Arcturus, the Arcturian star system, to guide you. You can visualize this dragon when you sit in meditation, or when you're in your quiet space or at work and you just want to become quiet. Just feel this dragon. As you can see, this dragon also have like a big staff of wisdom to guide you. I hope this resonates. If you have any more questions surrounding this card, becoming the best, please let me know. And if there's anybody else that would also like their own reading tonight, let me know in the comments and I will channel a reading for you. For tarot is absolutely amazing, and the reason why tarot was always perfectly accurate is when you believe in anything and truly believe in it, it will always work. So our timelines always shifts, and as our timeline shifts, the correct card will always present itself. Whether you resonate with it or whether you don't resonate with it, either way it will always help you on your journey of expansion, to know and to make up your mind surrounding what you truly want in your life. I have chosen the dragon cards because the dragons most resonate with me. Becoming balance, I think that resonates with my younger sister, not me. She's the one that normally has that. Okay, very interesting. So maybe you were thinking about her a lot and that is the knowledge that came through. So it's always interesting to see what comes through, right? And how it's sometimes about the people we're most compassionate about, and then you can be there for that person and understand better, right? So this is quite amazing. So the reason why I have chosen to work with the dragon cards is because I have personally, with my physical eye, seen real dragons manifest. I had some very interesting experiences in my journey of expansion and awakening to be in this privileged position to see dragons manifest right in front of me. It was the most beautiful and magical thing I've ever went through. After that, I started embarking on this journey of seeing and knowing so much more, where I then Also met my dragon cards, one of the first deck I bought, and the second one my shadow aspect, the light one I bought, and then the shadow one channeled me, becoming the best. Or maybe I'm in denial. I've been taught that before, but I never acknowledge it. Yeah, you see, that's also possible, you know. Sometimes the universe gives us tells us the same thing 3 times, and then we know we've got that 3 confirmations, and then through that confirmations we know, okay, I should definitely listen. So take this knowledge, put it on the shelf, and when you hear it again, if you truly don't resonate fully with it yet, wait for another confirmation when somebody else, somewhere else, whether it's a freaking movie or a storybook or whatever, tells you that same thing. It's probably time to listen. It's amazing how the universe always works through synchronicities and alignments. This is one of the beautiful reasons why I love to work with the tarot, working with energy, using light language and all these beautiful spiritual tools, because at the end of the day, oh boy, if I am the 6th person to tell you that, then you should definitely listen, which is a definite sign that the universe is speaking you. So if I were you, I would definitely listen around about now. See what's going on. I quickly have to do some verification that's coming here before my things reacted. Okay guys, so if there's anybody else that would like a tarot reading, let me know in the comments and I will give you a reading. If you're not sure what tarot is and how this works, also throw me a comment and just ask me why, and I will quickly explain it once again. But other than that, I'm gonna keep on with my stories. My main theme for tonight is the Pleiadian. Yes, oh dear, how do I say your name? Nashe Mahama. What an interesting name. Okay, let's go for this one. Let's see what the dragons wants to share with you. So whatever question or desire you have, just hold it in your heart space and allow whatever comes through to be the truth that you desire in this very moment, knowing that you are here for a reason. Okay, inspiration. Okay, so let me show you there. It is a black and white dragon. So if you feel like you do not have the inspiration and you need to be inspired, so this is your message of inspiration. Be inspired. Find whatever you feel you want to inspire through. You know, if you can't see the card as beautifully as I can, but it's this beautiful woman standing with her hands open and this energy is flowing through her, and the dragon is looking at her with this amazing energy. And I truly feel that your inspiration comes from your heart space, as this is our theme as well, of the heart space. I hope that resonates. Antique thing, you would like to know how it works. So how tarot works is as follows. We shift through timelines very fast. Every second we shift through timelines, and when we believe in any kind of permission slip such as tarot reading, and we trust that it will guide us and give us guidance, then it will. So whatever card presents itself at that moment will always be the timeline that presents the exact correct card for you in that moment. And whether you're trusting it or not, it will help you to make up your mind about what you already know and hold in your heart. So it's always a confirmation of something that's already there. If it's something far out and completely different, then you must say maybe whoever gave you the reading could be a bit off. So the next person was Tranesh23. So let's hold your question in your heart and let's see what comes through. Okay, so this is a beautiful this side. A very, very beautiful dragon. So, Tranesh 23, this is the Golden Atlantean Dragon. It helps you to remember the wisdom of Golden Atlantis. Awaken, bring back the knowledge, gifts and talents, reclaim your mastery. You probably have dreams or interesting experiences in your life that you possibly don't understand. So this is the call for the Golden Age, as we are in the same vibrational frequency as the last and previous Golden Atlantis age. So having dreams or all kinds of remembrances from that age, that is true. It's not your imagination. Hold on to it. Know that it is true. I hope this resonates for you. Okay, let's see who is next. Okay, Tranesh. Okay, I did a reading for you. Okay, Antique, you would also like a reading now. You're welcome, Tranesh. Antique, let's feel. Yeah, let's also go with this back. Let's see, hold that thought and that desire that you want and the answer you want in your heart. Just allow yourself to be surprised of what the universe can tell you. And whatever the outcome is, just let it be whatever it is. It doesn't have to even resonate. Okay, so we have this beauty. Okay, so this is the Golden Orange Dragon. Expands your light for ascension. Be a peaceful warrior. Help those in need. Remember your magnificence. I don't know if you guys can see, there's a very specific theme tonight of all the golden energy, the orange dragons, the red dragons. So, Antique thing, what I'm feeling is, if you can look closely on this card, you'll see that the dragon, there's a lot of papers and things flying around, trying to figure out life. And this is about not being sure exactly where you are in your life, but you want peace. You don't want people to fight. You don't want to fight with yourself and with your inner struggles, and knowing that all parts of yourself are valid. Everything that might be seemingly good or seemingly bad, it's all valid parts of yourself. So that's not only about helping other people, but also helping yourself and stepping into that power to know your true and your inner magnificence. I hope this resonates in some level, way, shape or form. So if there's anybody else that just joined and would also like a reading, let me know in the comments. I would give you a reading. So dragons are absolutely amazing, you know, being in a space where I had the privilege to see dragons firsthand, to see them manifest first through fire, then on this beautiful staff of one of my friends, completely changed my life, and then having them initiate me with the cards and trusting me to bring interpretation for those who wishes to seek for answers, because at the end of the day what we are seeking is ourselves. I'm so glad it resonates with you. That is so wonderful. Yeah, you know, Antique thing, I absolutely love the magic of the tarot and how spot on it can be. You know, I have no idea who you are, you have no idea who I am, and yet time and space transcends, and the dragons, they know exactly what happens. And this is how timelines work. When you pull this through into your life and you just trust that inner voice, if you trust that inner guidance, just closing your eyes for a second, taking a deep breath, and just trusting yourself, then you know you are on the right path. You know you'll make the right decision, whatever that is. Even sometimes afterwards, if that decision isn't what we thought was the best decision, it always leads to the catalyst that we needed in our life to get to where we truly desire to be, because unfortunately a lot of times in life the best catalyst isn't positive, or sometimes the tough things in life, but it shapes us. If I just pull it through into my own life where I'm at this moment, I'm at my parents' house. Me and my wife has embarked on this beautiful journey of relocating to the United Kingdom. She left her job about 6 months ago. my income was more than enough to sustain us, and as soon as she left her job, things changed in the ether and my income completely dropped to zero, and we've been freelancing and just touring the country and visiting family and friends and having all these beautiful catalysts in our life. And it was super tough, sometimes we thought, oh my gosh, did we do the right thing? Was it right for her to leave her job and to cut off our income, because we still need to pay the insurance on the car, we have to pay petrol, we have to buy food, we have to pay for where we stay. Are we gonna make it? And eventually coming to where we are now, we're like, okay, is this what the universe tried to teach us? Is this what we were trying to teach ourselves? And also having the guidance from the tarot, if you look, you'll see even my wedding ring is a dragon. So I'm completely in love with the dragons. I hope this resonates, guys. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask any question about this journey of expansion. I'm here to support. I would love to answer your questions and to engage more with you guys. I love an interactive audience, and if there's anybody else that is still here and haven't had a reading and are interested in having a reading, let me know. Don't be shy. If you don't believe in it, be open to be surprised. It is amazing what can happen when we allow ourselves to be surprised through the things the universe throws in our life, just sometimes to spoil us and to surprise us. I absolutely love how the dragons work. So my theme tonight is the blue Pleiadian dragons sorry, my legs are here crunched on the chair. I'm used to sitting on the ground, on a roof or on a carpet. I don't usually use chairs, so being in this different situation where I have to sit on a chair is quite an interesting experience. So for those who just joined, I'm doing free tarot readings. If you have no idea what it is, let me know in the comments and I can explain a little bit. If you would like your own reading, also let me know about that and I will give you your free reading today. And if you just would like to view and make up your mind of what you think and feel about it, that is also great. So in my journey of expansion, I have relied a lot on external tools. And yes, if you feel, think, or want to rely solely on your inner guidance, that's also great. Okay, Zubair Bota, you would also like your reading, so let's tune into the energies and see what the dragon, so whatever desire or question or answer you would like, just hold it in your heart, just feel it and know that whatever comes through, whatever I say, will help you to make up your mind about who you are and where you want to be in life. Okay, let's see what the dragons have. Oh, amazing. Let me show you. A bit like that. That way. Okay, I hope you can see a little bit. So this dragon is an enormous dragon. It's one of the largest, and you'll see there in the corner, in that upper corner, let me hold it like that, there's a big being as well. And this card is all about freedom, breaking the chains. Now, I feel these chains aren't necessarily external change of the job you're in, the circumstances you're in. This might be that inner chains, that freedom that you truly desire that is within you, that inner systems, belief systems that you have that is in opposition, having different things that you feel, but how can I break free from this? And knowing by creating creative choices, by choosing, instead of saying affirmations like I am healthy, I am free, I am sovereign, I am beautiful, making the choice of saying I choose to be powerful, I choose to be free. These choices doesn't conflict your inner belief systems, it actually invites them for change. So I hope this resonates in some way, shape or form. So yeah, guys, on this subject of choices, if any of you ever try to use affirmations and you wondered why it's not working for you, it's because of this fundamental truth. You're so welcome, Zubair Britta. I'm glad that it resonates with you. You would also like a dragon message, Louise J. Bailey Britta. Louis, sorry. I guess it's not Louise, it's Louis. My apologies. Okay, let's see what the dragons have in store. Just hold that thought or feeling or clarity that you desire in your heart, and let's feel into the energy of the dragons. Kia Hantarabako Shatataraeta Trabakundo Kishkikiandi. Kia Kantarabako Shuhontaraka Shataratatarindarabakishititiandi. Okay. Ooh, beautiful. Okay. So it's this beautiful green energy. So Louis, this is about surrender, letting go of the darkness. Now, what I also want you to know is, as you can see, this card that I just showed you is this beautiful being, green being with this beautiful green dragon with her, that harmony, that balance with life. Now, letting go of darkness is about that integration. It's not about denying your dark side, your shadow side, because being a source being, being part of source, being an expression of the source of God, we are both the light, we are both the shadow. So if you have this emotion that stirs about this darkness, you don't know what to do with it, acknowledge it, allow it, let it integrate. One of the things that I do to find my balance between light and darkness is I made a deal with myself to bring all that darkness out in the dream space, where I can murder and kill and scream and destroy as much as I want to, because there's no consequence in the dream space, so that I can be the loving person I would like to be in my waking space. I don't know if this resonates with you. I hope it does. And if you have any more questions, please let me know. So guys, this is also a very fundamental, interesting truth that we can touch upon when it comes to that balance that we want to find in our waking and our dream life. Is when Louis, great, thanks. We'll try the dream space clearing. Yeah, you know, man, it is absolutely a wonderful thing when I realized that I am everything. I'm all the light and all the darkness. I sat with this inner conflict of how do I express that dark side? How do I express the shadow part of myself without creating chaos on this earth? Because I want to live a beautiful life, you know, I want to shine my light, I want to help people, but I don't want to go and murder people as well, because that just feels wrong. But somewhere I need to express that side of me. And then I just clicked, you know what, the dream space is also reality, but on a different set of rules. That is us projecting a completely different reality to let out of steam. I'm like, okay, so this is the perfect place to let off steam. So in the dream space, I literally just go on a rampage some nights and kill a bunch of people. So that is crazy, but it helps, it works. So now I can, during the day, be more light and love, but in the dream space, I can give myself permission to let loose and to fuck shit up, you know, so that is amazing. Thank you, Zubair, Britta, Night Guys, thanks for the reading once again. Sleep tight, you as well. It was great to have you on here and for your support. If there's anybody else that just joined, I'm giving some free tarot readings. If you have no idea what it is, let me know in the comments, I can explain, or just throw a comment and I will give you your own reading. So dragons is an amazing thing, you know. This is one of the reasons why I work with my dragons, because I had that amazing privilege of seeing dragons with my own eyes. I never thought these mystical beings are real. You know, you always hear stories about fairies and dragons and trolls and all these mystical beings, but I never thought that they were actually true. I always knew that all legends must come from some kind of truth, and maybe there was a time that dragons roamed the earth, but not anymore. And in a sense, yes, physically they're not here, they're on a higher vibration, You truly need to raise your vibration to a level of allowance to see them. And I had that beautiful experience a couple of years ago. It up to today is still the best experience I ever had in my life, to be able to see a dragon manifest right in front of my eyes. It was such a profound experience that I had to experience that again. So I set up the circumstances and conditions and asked the dragons, and they showed up yet again. And then a couple of months later, or actually a year or so later, me and my wife wanted to see dragons, and we created the conditions on a farm on a full moon around the fire, and we had the opportunity to see dragons again for the third time. So that was absolutely so profound, to be able to see real life dragons, not just this mystical cloud that is like, that cloud looks like a dragon, or a tree shaking, like, okay, that tree looks like a dragon. It was real life, real dragons. I remember so clearly the very first dragon that we saw. To explain it, it almost looked like a iguana with wings. So that was freaking interesting to see it. It was, if I measure it, around 40 centimeters long. So it was a very, very small dragon. I remember when I saw it, I was like, I want to cuddle this dragon. So it was such an amazing experience to have that allowance for the dragons to present them to us. And since that, I've been completely obsessed with the dragons and what they have in store for us. So my theme when I drew the cards for tonight spoke about that source healing, stepping back into our heart space. This is something that I've also found through my journey of expansion, is we a lot of time feel disconnected from the true essence of who we are. We cannot see the path of how to connect ourselves. We hear all these things that people say of how to step back into our 0 point to reconnect with ourselves, and we think to ourselves, but how the fuck am I supposed to do that? And one of the simplest practices is literally to sit in meditation and go into that 0 point. Now, going into that 0 point is a tricky, sticky situation, because it's very easy for me to tell you, go into your 0 point, channel your source self, just take 3 long breaths, exhale, do this, do that, but at the end of the day, there are some tangible, simple things that we can do to get into that 0 point. Some people are privileged enough to get into that 0 point immediately. Other people need to practice quite a lot to get there. So one of the things that you can do to get into that 0 point is literally just by sitting with yourself. It's best to sit and meditate as soon as we lie down. We go into that sleep state, which we then just fall asleep. It's different. I try to hack meditation a lot of times by saying, no, I'm just going to lay down, I'm tired, or I'm cold, I want to snuggle. But it's not the same. It does something different in your mind and in your body when you truly sit up straight and you show up for yourself, to be able to listen to that inner voice. Now, one of the things that I do when I meditate is I bring all the information that I learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza, that I hear from Bashar, that I hear from Matthias, and that I found myself through the journey of expansion. I bring it all into my heart. Now, when we place our focus in our heart, then from our heart space, as I see it, is source energy. Now, those of you who understand a little bit more about religion, specifically the Christian religion, in the one script, it talks about how the kingdom of heaven is within, but then they still externalize their power. So how I see it is source energy. There's this portal that comes through our hearts, and all energy, all of life, all of existence comes from within. It's not an outside job, it's an inside job. The magic here is that everything truly comes from within us. If you've ever taken a psychedelic substance or a mind altering substance, then you will know that we don't travel outside of ourselves, we travel with inside ourselves, we travel into ourselves. And that is one of the biggest things that you can know, is that all that power comes from within. Hi Crimson, great to see you here. I am doing free tarot reading, so anybody that just joined can just throw me a message and I can channel a dragon card for you. If you have no idea what it is, also let me know and I can explain a little bit about that as well. So during this space of knowing that all of creation comes from within our heart, we then focus on that energy, we see it, we feel it, we use all our senses, all our emotions. For emotion is just energy in motion. So Crimson, you say hello, yes please. Okay, let's feel. Let's also do this one. So whatever you, the question or desire or direction, clarity, sorry, that's the word I've been looking for, that you're wanting to experience, just hold it in your heart. Kia Hantarabakush, Totara Hatara Kietara Kushunturoka Hatata. Okay, let's see what the dragons have. Okay, so there we go. It's this beautiful, this way. As you can see there, I know it's not the clearest picture, but this is the dragon of space. So let's feel into the energy of this crimson. And by space, it's not just about, the expanse out there. It's also about that space in your heart. Because our main theme before I started the card that I drew was all about source healing, reconnecting with our heart, our 0 point, and I truly feel that resonates and ties into this, to create space for yourself, to create space for the being that you are, to allow yourself to have enough space for yourself to be yourself and all of yourself, not just parts of yourself, all the shadow, all the light, everything that you feel might not fit within your paradigm's perception or perspective. Allow yourself to feel it all and make space for it. I hope this resonates in some way, shape or form. So working with dragons is absolutely one of the most fun experiences in my life. I've gone through so many experiences where I had these big realizations of how to sit in this space. And as we're on this topic of meditation, what happened was let's say about 6-7 years ago. Okay, so Crimson, you replied, makes complete sense. I was thinking about that very thing this morning regarding being able to be amazing. That's so beautiful. I've done about 6 or 8 readings tonight, and every single person completely resonated. So it's amazing to know how accurate the tarot can be. I absolutely love how spot on the dragons are. So in this experience of stepping into my heart, stepping into my true power, being able to meditate, I always took meditation very lightly. I never thought, meditation, it's not that cool, what's meditation? But when I stopped doing it for a while, I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, there is so much power in meditation, due to the simple reason that when we sit with ourselves, when we sit quietly with ourselves, we sit with our own thoughts, then we realize the simple truth that all of creation is a projection of our inner thoughts. So what happens if we start then to change our inner thoughts? Then our reality starts changing. It's a very simple principle. When our mind changes, our reality changes, and this is a fundamental truth that comes from the Hermetic principles. The first Hermetic principle says mentalism, all is mind, as above so below, as within so without. So when we sit with ourselves and we allow our thoughts to focus on a very specific reality, then we start shifting all our energy into creating that set reality that we want, whatever that is. And we also allow our inner belief systems to shift, because all our inner belief systems, they fundamentally are who they are. They don't change. We just shift into different versions of ourselves and into different versions of our inner belief system. So we fundamentally do not go against the true nature and purpose of our inner systems. We just shift into different versions of them and us as the observer. So when we sit in meditation and we hold this thought of knowing, but I am everything and I can choose to observe any reality that I choose to. It's interesting, Crimson. I just came across that very video, Life and Death, so above, so below, before jumping in. That's amazing. I love how things can... my English is completely lost tonight. It's like I'm hitting blank after blank. How the synchronicities, that's the word I've been looking for, how things can completely synchronize. I've seen some crazy synchronicities from this morning. There's been some very interesting developments in our journey to move to the UK, with Bianca having her job interview on Friday. So we are 100% convinced that she finally has the job and that we are going to be in the UK before end of September. So yeah, that is super excited. We cannot wait to get there. So I've got my techno music here on my phone in the ear, so I'm jiving here in the background. I'm thinking that next time I'm doing a relaxed live, I'm going to put my techno music on the live in the background, then we all can jive together and we can have a little TikTok festival, jive together, because now it must look strange that I'm jiving here without music, but who cares, I'm having a party here my inside. So yeah, we're very excited about that, and that's also because of that simple thing of sitting in meditation, coming back to our center, stepping into our heart, stepping into our true self, and acknowledging where we are, allowing our thoughts to change our minds, changing the settings. This reminds me of one of the festivals that we went to and met one of our friends. My brand new friends. Hi Louis, I see you're back. But in any case, so this new friend that we met, crazy freaking guy, tall and skinny, with wearing skirts. First I thought he was gay, but then I realized he loves to cross-dress because he likes to freak people out. But we were talking about all kinds of different concepts about reality and how we should change our minds. And then I told him through this conversation, you must just change your settings. And we were laughing about it. And when we went back to the stage, sometime during the evening, whoever was the DJ played really crappy music, and we were like, yes, this is crappy music, we can't resonate with this. It just, it feels wrong. And he looks at the stage and he's like, change the settings, hold his hand out, change the settings. And in that moment, new music started to play. It was so funny. And since that day, it's like, yeah, we must just change our settings. And now the music in my ears are talking about DMT and acid. So that's so funny. Very interesting. Hi Joe, thanks for joining. Tonight I'm doing free tarot reading, so if you would also like your own free tarot reading, let me know in the comments and I can channel a reading for you as well. We've had some very interesting conversations up to now. So yeah, it was a real fun and interesting realization to go through. So when we sit in that meditative state, and we go back into that source space, into our heart, we reconnect to the true essence of who we are. And it doesn't need to be a very difficult thing to do. It can be just as simple as sitting with yourself and asking yourself questions. It's something I referred to a little earlier as well. Asking is being as king, and when you are as king, you will have the answer. So whoever is as king holds the power. And this is the same with our mind. When we govern our own mind, when we become our own government, then things can shift. And this is an amazing thing, you know, knowing that we have all this power inside of us. Let me just quickly have some more water. It feels like I've got a frog in my throat. And the second thing that I channeled before I started with the live was the dragon of rebirth. So it was beautiful how the dragons were talking about rebirth and stepping in our source self. Now, this ties in beautifully because we cannot experience rebirth, or we cannot step into our source, into our heart, if we don't experience that rebirth, giving ourselves a second chance. We need to give ourselves second chances all the time. Sometimes we hold ourselves accountable for specific things in life, but we never. Thank you so much for the rose, Mikhail. I am also doing free tarot reading, so if you would like a tarot reading, then just let me know in the comments and I'll give you your own reading. So holding ourselves accountable is so much more than just being our own judge. It's about acknowledging, it's about that complete rebirth, giving ourselves a second chance to choose differently, to see life differently, to do things differently, you know, and that allows us to step into our 0 point, to step into our heart. Okay, let me channel, let's see what resonates for you, Kiara Kashatara, leaning towards this side. So whatever question or answer you would like, whatever guidance or clarity you would like to experience, just hold that energy in your heart. Thank you, dragons. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your life. Okay, so this is the card. Let me zoom out to this side. Okay, so this dragon is about time. Now in the image, it's this huge water being sitting on the rocks in the shore and this dragon sitting behind them. Now feeling into the energy, what I feel, it's not just that physical time of living longer. I feel that this dragon is talking about time for yourself. Oh dear. Is dropped my cards. It's about making time for yourself, but quality time. I just want to. Yep, sorry, that was all of them. So I truly feel it's about creating that sacred space to spend quality time with yourself first and foremost, because you are source. You are the guidance that you need. You are the savior you've always been looking for. You are the alien that you've been trying to meet all along. You are that guide that you see in your dream space. You are the true power that ignites your desires and your wants. And when you spend this time with yourself, when you spend quality time with yourself, whether it's through meditation, through being artistic, through whatever passion it is, that whatever hobby it is that you do, that is your 0 point. That is the space where you spend the best quality time with yourself. Okay, I hope this resonates with you in some way, shape, level, or form. So guys, this is such a big thing. It's about when we spend time with ourselves, when you truly sit with ourselves, and we gift ourselves time. Because remember, as source being, we are outside of time and space. Yeah, you see, maybe that's just confirmation of what you already know, and that is what I love about the tarot, is that sometimes it just confirms the thing we're already doing, so that we know, okay, can and I am allowed to hang out with myself more, or do it, and I don't have to feel bad about it. Because the other thing is, when we feel guilty about what we do, it turns toxic, whether it's specific food. What you say, I live in a 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom house and no neighbors, by myself, and I love every second. I can only imagine. I must say, this is one of the things I miss the most, is having that space to be alone. I want to do mirror work, to stare into the mirror until a different being stares back at me and starts talking to me. But you feel weird when you're not truly alone, when you can't shut the door for a couple of hours and just be alone. It was one of my most sacred times in this journey of expansion to go through, where I had this opportunity to be most of the time completely alone for a couple of years. As a super extrovert that loves to talk and hang out with people, I cherish that time so deeply. It was the best time ever to truly be with myself. At first, it was absolutely the hardest thing I could ever do, to spend time with myself and to sit with my thoughts, until I realized, oh my gosh, I can actually enjoy spending time with me. I can figure out who I am. I always wanted to know myself, so what better chance to know myself than actually having nothing else to do but to spend time with myself. So yeah, it's absolutely magic. And we absolutely fall in love with it. I think there's a Japanese saying or something that talks about, when we discover the art of solitude, we never want to be outside of that again. We just want more and more of it, and it's truly the one of the best drugs I can think of. Obviously psychedelics is amazing, all these things, but that alone time is so magic, to figure out who we are, to step into that 0 point, to step into our heart. And this ties also so beautifully into the theme I have for tonight, about allowing ourselves to be reborn, to allow ourselves for expansion, to step into our heart, to step into our source space, to truly know that that divine power comes from within, and that that portal to source is right in our heart, and that our heart is the source space. And this is such a beautiful thing to live and to sit with, to know that everything that is external, everything that is outside of us, is just a manifestation of our internal reality. And we truly do not need to go outwards to have external experiences to know ourselves. It also reminds me of this saying that I read in this one book about the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ, where somebody asked him a couple of questions, and he said, yes, if you tell me, Master, or ask me, Master, what should I study, I would simply reply, yourself. And when you have thoroughly studied yourself and you should come back to me and ask me, Master, what should I study next, I would simply reply, yourself. And that was such a profound thing that I didn't truly understand back then, when I was still stuck in religion. So when I got out of religion, I realized, oh my gosh, when my expansion exploded through my brain and I could see further than my nose, religion really keeps that veil in front of our eyes. It's like trying to peek, but you always keep hand in front of your eyes, so you can never see the truth. And once you realize, oh my gosh, I can take the hand away, it's my hand in front of my eyes, then we start to realize so many things. And that was such a profound thing to understand, that, oh my gosh, if I truly study myself, I will get exactly to where I want to be. At first, when I realized that by studying myself, I'll get the answers, I also realized, but I'm responsible for all the shit in my life. I'm responsible for all the catalysts and all the things that's happening in my 3D world, because it's a projection of my inner world. So I am fully responsible for all the good, all the bad, and all the in between. And at first that was quite a tough thing to be like, oh my gosh, I am responsible, it's truly my fault. How the fuck am I gonna make sense? And I realized, but oh, I have all the time in the world to spend with myself, so let me use this time to spend with myself and sort my shit out, you know? And it was such a beautiful gift to have that opportunity to sit with myself every day, mostly smoke some weed, you know, get into the vibe, get into that higher frequency, channel the truth of myself, and to acknowledge all that parts of shadow and all that parts of light in my life. What a magical thing. Yeah, it is absolutely amazing to take 100% responsibility. I agree with you. It is tough at first, because when you truly come to this realization of, oh my gosh, this is my reality and I am responsible for every single thing that happens in this reality, and you think of all the bad shit that's going on, you're like, oh my gosh, am I this terrible being? And then you realize, okay, as a source being, I'm only expressing myself in every single possibility, because as a source being I have to experience every single possibility to know what it truly is to be a source being, so that when I am a full-fledged source being, I can see other source beings, and if I do not experience every single thing in every single variation, regardless of how far the extremes is to the seemingly good or the seemingly bad, I have to experience it, because it's beautiful and it's just expansion, it's just an experience. There is, in truth, no truly good or no truly bad. There is only experience, there is only life, and I am all of it. Then, you know, things get much better, definitely. So that was an amazing thing to go through. Yeah, Joe, that's why being in 0 point is so important. Absolutely. You know, if you shift out of your 0 point, shit gets crazy, you know. And I was so privileged to go through that terrible space in my life where I went, just to hear me correctly, being vegan wasn't the terrible part. How I went vegan was terrible. So the guide we had for that told us how to be vegan was a complete bugger up, and we neglected our bodies extremely. So my brain started deteriorating in a space that was just silly. I also didn't realize what was going on, you know. At first I just thought, oh, I'm just a spiritual being having this big experience of being super spiritual, and my body is okay. And when you stay in these vibrations, you don't realize what's going on, until I got to a place where I realized, oh my gosh, I cannot remember anything anymore. I'm so lost in everything that's happening in my life. How the heck am I going to, you know, everything that happened in the past couple of years, there's just bits and pieces, and I can barely speak, I can barely keep a conversation going, because there's no energy, no nutrition left in my entire body. So my brain is pulling on the shortest straw. But the beauty of that experience was it forced me to live out of my 0 point. So I quickly had to learn what it is to live from that 0 point, which was one of the greatest gifts that I ever received. And by the time I learned about the 0 point and what it is to step in your 0 point through the heart, at first when my guide Josiah started to teach me about go into your heart space, go into your 0 point, I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I sit in meditation all the time, I do all these things, but I don't know how to connect into my heart. And then eventually when I clicked, I'm like, oh, I actually channel from a 0 point all the time, because my memory was at all time low. So that was a super funny realization. I don't know if any of you had a realization like that before, where you're actually doing the thing that you're trying to achieve, but because you call it a different name by a different name, or you have a different angle, look at it from a different side, you don't realize you're doing the very thing that you're looking for. It's almost like that experience that I had where me and a friend took a lot of psychedelics that day, and our vibration was at an all-time high. It was just crazy, and we were walking. It felt like we were floating rather than walking. And I was looking over the valley, and I had this realization where I told him, you know what, we are the aliens we've been looking for, and we kind of saw these spaceships and aliens that would glitch in and out of reality, and we just realized, you know what, this is crazy. We are exactly what we are looking for. We are that thing that we're looking for, and it was just a profound realization I also had in that specific experience. I saw how I created some of my other experiences, stepping into that source space so deeply that I saw how I created my own experiences, or some of my own experiences. And that was quite beautiful, because seeing and being consciously aware of the experience that you created through time and space into your past, that was amazing. That stepping into your 0 point. And another interesting thing is when I had the opportunity to change my reality at will, to change as much as I wanted to change about my reality, being in a vibration where I was so deeply connected to my source space that I could literally stop time, and I could instantly. Can you remember details about how you created those experiences? Oh yes, I remember. So me and Martin was out. Let me not call the name the exact place. So we were out on our favorite spot in nature, and we took about 400 mics of acid. Remember, guys, this is not recommended if you don't have a proper guide or proper experience. This is just for entertainment purposes only. I just feel I have to say this. So we took a buttload of psychedelics, and we were flying super high. We were introducing marijuana, and what else did we add? Some wine. We always added wine at the end. For some reason, when you use acid and you add marijuana later and then you add wine, it's a fantastic combination. Yet again, not advised if you're not very familiar with what you're doing, but we were sitting around the fire. It was just starting to get dark. We were preparing our food. Luckily, we prepared our food because we knew we wouldn't want to still cook our food. I was so glad about that. Also learned a very valuable lesson to never use these kinds of medicines and have food that's super dry. I almost choked to death. You need to have very soft and squishy food. But in any case, back on track. So I was sitting and staring to the fire, and we were just looking into our experiences because we felt a little bit more sober at that time. And then suddenly, as I was staring into the fire, I channeled the energy of the very first experience that I had, where the guide that I had then gave me 8 grams of magic mushrooms, and I experienced my own death and a lot of things, and I saw how I am creating that entire experience. So as I was sitting in front of the fire, I started seeing the memories, but I was creating them as I saw them back there in that time. And I added, and I was also, before I say that, I was also in conversation with my friend, laughing and having amazing music playing. And as I'm looking into the fire, and if for those who don't know, fire becomes a portal. As soon as you start pushing your vibration up, fire becomes an amazing portal through time and space. So I was sending this energy of everything that I want to experience through time and space as if I have not yet experienced it. And then some of the things I added for fun. And as I added them, I remember how when I experienced it a couple of years prior, that it didn't make any sense. Crimson. I love eating oranges on my journeys. It was a profound experience to eat an orange while flying. Yeah, yeah, some things can be very strange. I remember with one of my first experiences, by close to the end, they gave me also pure fruit blended juice because he knew that my body would react strange towards anything, and I spit it out because it felt so strange in my mouth, like what the heck is this? Even fresh fruit juice felt just wrong. So yeah, while I was sitting staring at the fire creating these experiences, I added this tidbit to confuse me because I knew that on my journey, if there wasn't this confusion, I would not if there wasn't a confusion, I would stop looking for the answers. But if I add a couple of strange, crazy things, I would always keep revisiting what happened. I would always stay curious and always try to dive deeper, which I did. And then everything came into that perfect completion, that circle of completion, back to exactly where we are at that moment in space and time. So that was a fascinating experience to go through. I also had a similar experience a couple of years later with some other friends where I also stepped deeply into my source space and was able to create a new timeline for myself. But I don't know if you felt this super shift since the Lionsgate portal. Just on a side note, I can definitely feel that this weekend. I know Joe and Crimson would know exactly what happened with us this weekend, but we shifted so radically this weekend that things are way different. You know, there was a couple of details in our lives that we had to figure out, and during the weekend things shifted so radically that it's just completely different, you know. I know that some of us that was here on the farm at my parents', our vibration was so intense. Yeah, this weekend was definitely significant. Even I saw it. I agree, Joe. Bianca also saw that same. She also said that this weekend when she spoke and we're outside, she also saw the ground moving. Now, guys, this was freaking fascinating to experience our normal reality, as we would call it, on acid vibration, where the ground would be moving in the same way it would when you use a psychedelic. So that was freaking crazy and amazing. But a couple of things shifted, you know, with our sister coming back to South Africa from India so that we can visit her again, and the money that just somebody just paid into her account and say, come and visit, you know. A lot of big things that shifted. My wife that's now suddenly have her her appointment, her interview on Friday. You know, we were in, you know, Joe, you and Crimson know that we were about to give up on the UK and start making arrangements for New Zealand. And then Monday evening we had our meditation, and Tuesday the agency called and said, we're going to send your CV into this company. And the next morning they phoned and said, hey, they want an interview on Friday, or well, they arranged for Friday, that's the day available. So yeah, suddenly our reality started to change, and we can feel the difference. We can feel how reality is starting to align for us. Crimson, I think I was on a different planet this weekend. No ground shift, but everything was brighter in color for me. So yeah, so you picked up on the same energy, you just experienced it differently, and that is amazing. I could also feel it. I also realized that what happened this weekend hit me emotionally and psychologically harder than I realized due to the nature of the event. It through my that PTSD that I experienced and the anxiety and stuff that I went through of my own death experiences were a little bit reawakened of with the close encounter on this weekend. So it's still something I'm dealing with, and I realized I'm a little bit in a weird space, but knowing that we can talk about these things really helps. Crimsons, I realized something profound for me this weekend that I didn't think about for years. That's beautiful, Joe. Oh, do you realize what happened with your UK travel plans? Why it's happening now all of a sudden? Yeah, Joe, so it's amazing, because we were always meditating. I was always giving attention to my spiritual discipline. But as soon as we sold our flat and moved out with everything that's chaotic, I used it as an excuse not to meditate. I felt that twofold. I felt that I needed to ground myself a bit, come back into my human, come back to earth, because I was flying so high due to just coming off the psychedelic trauma or all of that things that I experienced. So I felt I needed to remove myself a little bit from the super spiritual side of life to experience normal life so that I can set up my business, focus on getting us in the UK. And I just had no energy to spend time on meditation. I said, you know what, it's okay. I'm going to trust my inner guidance and I'm just going to do what feels right. And this last couple of weeks, I really, actually, since we were in Joburg last month, I really started missing my meditations. I started telling myself, I want to get back into meditating because I absolutely love it and I know there's power, but I never felt big shifts happening, or I thought I never felt big shifts happening when I meditate. So I thought, you know what, some spiritual disciplines works for some people and other disciplines are more in line for other people. And then I had this big realization last week, and then Monday evening I said I have to meditate, especially after what happened this weekend. I need to sit with myself, and me and my wife, we sit and we meditated, and Tuesday morning things started to align. Because I know that I am the observer of my reality. I know that when I allow myself to observe a different reality and I change my mind, that thing that I spoke about a bit earlier as well, it's all about just changing our minds. And how do we change our mind? Through sitting with ourselves and allowing ourselves, our thoughts to come in and to shift so that we can observe a different reality. So with all this going through my being, yeah, Crimson, shifted and gifted, absolutely. So now I'm completely hooked on meditation. I have this whole entire course that I'm setting up now about meditation and the power of meditation and how it works. I absolutely love how the universe works through real life, intense, big changes, This is how I have this beautiful connection to my tarot, to the dragons, to my 0 point, now with meditation, and a lot of things. I can't even think of everything that I have this deep connection with at the moment, because there's so many things that I'm so deeply connected with. But the universe uses my main form of communication. When you think of the 4 linguistic styles of communication: seeing, hearing, feeling, and thinking, mine is seeing, and my reality that I project shows me exactly the difference between the choices we make, the effects that it has, and how it ties into our reality and our everyday life. And that solidifies it into my being, and then it becomes a part of me. Then it shifts from just being a knowing or a thought or just useless information on the shelf. Then it becomes a being. It becomes a part of who you are, a part of your beingness. This winter, sorry, my nose is so itchy since I'm here on the farm. I really enjoyed the nice and warm nail sprayed. Good night. I'll see you at the next live. Thanks for the reading. You are so welcome. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for all the gifts and the hearts. Sleep tight and have a fantastic experience in your dream space. So who is left here? We have Crimson, Joe, and Inchley that's still viewing. Wonderful. Yeah, so is there anything that you guys would like to talk about while I'm still on here? Let me see what's the time. Yeah, I'll be on for a couple of more minutes and I'm also going to jump off. I want to make sure I've got enough energy for tomorrow when we come over to you guys, Joe. I wanted to quickly look at something, but now I can't remember what. Never mind. So yeah, how do you guys like my background that I put up for tonight's live? I was sifting. Would you do a reading for me too, please, for curiosity's sake? Yeah, absolutely. Let's also go for this one, Joe. So yeah, cool alien, right? So let's feel into the energy. Let's do that. Well, I didn't see that he asked me in the comments, so sorry about that, but let me quickly do a reading for you. Okay, so we have this one. Okay, any case, it's difficult to properly see. Transcendence, achieving success. Now, here on top of the dragon, you'll see, if I can get the lightning right, you'll see there's like a dude on top of the dragon. So let's feel into this energy, transcendence, achieving success. That transcendence of within, that transcendence through the heart space, that transcendence of transcending just that connection from the lower chakras and just being where you are, transcending into the higher chakras, because that higher chakras is the connection through that 0 point to find that true balance between being a higher dimensional being and being a earth being, being a human as well, so that there is that balance, because the heart is the center, it is the tipping point, and transcending through the energies in both directions creates that balance and alignment. Don't know if that resonates. Yeah. Now I also love the background. I had a couple of choices, like I want something unique, I want something that fits with transcendence through integration of my higher and lower self. Yeah, absolutely. That integration is so important, and having that heart space integration and activation, that truly helps, stepping into that 0 point. That's what I also loved, that when I drew the card in the beginning to see what the atmosphere for tonight was, that where's that dragon now? That was the blue dragon from the Pleiades. Also quite a beautiful dragon, the blue dragon from the Pleiades, that prepares you to accept source healing, accepts heart activation, and give and receive healing. So that was quite fitting as well. Yeah, exactly. So everything ties in so beautifully tonight with every single person that I did a reading for and that showed up. It was all about this ascension, about an ancient energy stepping to the heart space, stepping into their true power and the true being of who they are. So that was quite amazing. So yeah, excited about this journey of expansion, and I'm excited for everything that this new energy is bringing through the Lionsgate portal that we just experienced. I truly believe that with all the people that set intention and send energy out through the Lionsgate portal, completely shifted our reality once again. You know, we feel so. Joe, did I tell you what I saw in the Lionsgate portal? If you did, I don't remember. It was a crazy weekend, so you are welcome to share again what you saw in the Lionsgate portal. It'd be great to see what to read what you say. Maybe it will spark memory again. I know the weekend was a bit upside down for me, so I don't remember a lot of what happened. So yeah, that happens, you know. Experiencing trauma can be quite crazy. But yeah, the Lionsgate portal was absolutely freaking intense. I saw the Galactic Council convene energy connection in a circular pattern. That sounds very familiar. Maybe you did tell me. So yeah, that's completely fitting. You know, if I look at how things are shifting just in my own reality and the people closest to me, you know, it is absolutely fantastic to see how timelines are shifting and how we stepped into a different timeline. You know, there's some really, really big physical shifts that even happened to us over this last couple of days due to the enormous energy shift from the Lionsgate portal. So I am super, super excited for what's happening. It feels like the Lionsgate portal was another stone dropped into the ocean of consciousness that's making a new wave, new ripples that we can ride. So yeah, I'm quite excited. Joe, we're playing an interesting game, learning more and more rules to the game. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's so much to learn and to relearn and to remember and to have fun. You know, one of the things that I've just been telling myself this last couple of days is about truly placing myself back into my human rules. Let's call it more like guidelines, you know, if you want to call the Hermetic principles rules and things like that. I guess at the end of the day, rules are the things that we decide ourselves, the parameters we set up for ourselves to live by. But yeah, absolutely, something like the Hermetic principles, that mentalism, resonance, everything has gender, male, female. All these principles have big effects. Now my mind is hitting a complete blank on all the Hermetic principles. Lovely. Me being somebody that loves by trying to play all the principles against each other for the universal algorithm. Joe, rules as in learning how we can shape our reality through awakening and integration, harmony and balance. Yeah, absolutely. That is so true, because if we don't set up some parameters, or let's call them rules for the game, it's going to be a rather strange, chaotic game that we play. So we embed these invisible rules in this invisible reality to have this invisible experience made visible, tangible, and enjoyable, so that we can have the catalysts and all the shifts and the stuff. So yeah, that is quite fun. So guys, my voice is also at its end, and it's also my bedtime, so I'm going to leave you guys here. When we don't know the rules, we are NPCs. Yeah, you feel like a tree. Yeah, sometimes I feel like a piece of grass as well. But guys, it was fun to hang out with you. Thanks for being on my life. Thanks for all the gifts, and It was great to be able to share my gift of the tarot. And for those who are on here that have not engaged at all, that has been viewing this whole time, I hope it doesn't all sound like just a bunch of gibberish. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, Joe and Crimson, to seeing you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna have a... I came here, yeah. Let me shut up and log off, guys. Sleep tight, work. Have a lovely work if you're working, whatever you do. See you guys soon. Cheerio.